Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about the infamous Cruelclaw, and honestly, this commander looks absolutely bonkers. He looks like an incredibly fun card, as well as being able to do some insane things if you take advantage of both parts of his kit. He's already got the built-in menace, which is going to be really helpful for us to be able to proc off his abilities and stuff. Before we get into it though, make sure you guys do subscribe, share the videos around, all that kind of stuff, like them. It's a free way to support the channel. We can grow bigger, we can get into contact with wizards and stuff like that, get sponsored, all that kind of stuff would just be amazing. So please do it. It would be really great. I'm getting tearful almost thinking about how much you guys have been amazing so far anyway. His ability is really great. When he deals combat damage to a player, you are essentially going to be, doing discover, right? You're going to exile the top cards of your library until you exile a non-land card. You can then cast that by discarding a card rather than paying its mana cost. So there's a few different ways that we can take advantage of basically every single part of this. The combat damage, I'm not going to kind of focus on. You guys know ways to be able to get creatures to deal combat damage, whether it's give them flying, evasion, whether it's just the built-in menace already. He's already going to be able to do that, so I'm not going to focus on that too much. But let's start with the exiling cards from the top of our library. Why don't we just put the good cards on the top of our library? So we've got stuff like Insatiable Avarice, which was just printed in OTJ, one of my favorite cards from OTJ. We can use it to be able to cheat a card onto the top of our library there by, essentially tutoring. We've got something like Forerunner of the Coalition. If you want to lean into the Outlaws and Outlaw Tribal, which technically Infamous Cruelclaw is because he's a mercenary, then, maybe you want to add some cool pirates in there. And this is a cheap way for you to be able to tutor up a pirate, as well as get a body from it and do some other stuff with your pirates too. We've got Scheming Symmetry, which is probably the one that I want to focus on most here because this is really great. First of all, it's relatively cheap, about less than $5. It's got up here, it's only costing 1 black, so you can do it pretty easily, and then you're going to get to tutor something onto the top. Now, someone else will get to, but you can use this to politic and stuff. There's a nice secret lair drop from it too, which is really cool. One for me and one for you. It's really cool. This is a card that potentially going to go up a lot. It hasn't been reprinted since 2020, except for that secret lair. So if you're looking to build Cruelclaw, grab these cards now. We've got Liliana Vess here too. So she is another tutor to the top. Again, not reprinted in a while. Nice kind of a secret lair drop there too. And then you've got this ultimate ability here, which is going to be good for her as well if you are discarding things, which Cruelclaw is going to be. You can selectively discard things and then reanimate them, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then we've got like Varagoth, which is another one that when when you attack with him, which we're going into an attack strategy anyway with Cruelclaw, we get to tutor something to the top. So, we're going to be tutoring things to the top of our deck, and then the idea is do that, and then go into combat, deal combat damage with Cruelclaw, and then from there get to cast something. But we need things to cast, right? We need some really great things to cast. Obviously, with tutors, the best part about them is that you get to do whatever you want. You can tutor whatever you like up there, so if there's something that you need straight away, then you could do that. Or let's just tutor out an Emrakul. Why not? There's no need not to. Or, Ulamog. Emrakul's actually insane in this. I just realized. Emrakul's actually insane about this, and I'll come back to him. But, these kind of big, huge mana drops, you don't need to pay mana for it. You just get to discard a card. And, we can also lean into that discard stuff with stuff like Chainer, where you're discarding stuff and then you get to cast stuff from the graveyard. If you haven't if you haven't got one of your tutors yet, cast something from the graveyard that you discard it and discard something else in there. Or we've got like Olivia as well. Whenever something enters, you can discard a card, put a +1/+1 onto it, and then gain haste. So other ways to be able to discard things, which then leads into, Victimize or, other reanimates. I'm talking about Victimize here because I think it's a decent option because you get to reanimate 2 things, right? Just for the price of, hey, sack something. Now, this is a very cheap card as well. It's been reprinted in a whole bunch of Commander decks as well as, most recently in Modern Horizons 3. So from there, just reanimate stuff. If you discard stuff, then you can just bring it back anyway. So, you know, you've got that. Or the other thing is that if you are discarding things, right, then you can lean into the whole madness thing, which is why I realized about Emrakul. You can just lean into this madness, pay 6 colors. Now, we're not necessarily going to have a whole bunch of colors, depending on what kind of mana base you've got or anything like that. But did you know there is a lot of madness cards that are very fun and very interesting? So if you're leaning into madness, you know, you can do lots of very interesting things with this. You know, pay some, you discard it, and then you just get to bring it back, sometimes for like cheaper than it, or sometimes, you know, the same price. And there's other ones that, like, if you paid it its madness cost, then, you know, do something else. Lots of kind of great ways to kind of take advantage of madness. I don't know, it's really great. So in my opinion, you know, Cruelclaw is just looking really bonkers between the fact that you can tutor stuff to the top, you can, you know, and then selectively cast something for free. You've got, you know, leaning into the madness aspect as well, where you tutor things and then you discard something from your hand, you cast that for free. Like you cast whatever you get from the top for free, and then you also get to cast the madness thing potentially cheaper and stuff. Like, there's just really kind of great ways to be able to take advantage of every single part of his ability. And, you know, even then, if you don't have him out, let's say he gets removed, he is 3/3, you know, he's going to get bolted or something, you can then still use some of these other cards to be able to still take advantage of the fact that you're discarding stuff, still, you know, still discard stuff, still, you know, cheat stuff out, reanimate stuff. Lots of great ways for you to be able to do all of those things. I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you think. I think that he is potentially going to be the most interesting and potentially even the most powerful commander that we're going to see coming out of Bloomburrow. But I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.